Hello everyone and welcome back to Friday Night Magic with Kurisumon. This week we're going to be jumping into a quick constructed event on Magic the Gathering Arena. I'm going to be uploading this blue-green Merfolk deck that I've been playing around with. It's been a lot of fun. It can be inconsistent at times, but it has a lot of working parts that make it run. So we have our 1-drops here of choice, which are Kumina's Speaker. It gets +1/+1 as long as you control another Merfolk or an island. Then we have Mistcloaked Herald, which is a 1-drop that can't be blocked. Then for the 2-drops, we play Merfolk Branchwalker for card advantage. Merfolk Mistbinder, which is the card that makes the deck run, as it gives all of your other Merfolk +1/+1. Merfolk Trickster, which allows us to play tricks during combat, messing with things there. Silvergale Adept, which is what allows us to keep our hand full. And then Jade Light Ranger, which is another source of card advantage. Then at the top end of the curve, we have a few singletons here. Kopala, which is really good against decks that like to remove things piece by piece, 1-for-1 with their removal. Kumina, which is just another source of card advantage and can put us over the top in the damage race. And Tempest Caller, which also allows us to break through any kind of stalled board states and get through with all of our damage. Blossoming Defense allows us another option to play against those targeted removal decks. Spell Pierce is in the main because, again, this is a quick constructed event, so there will be no sideboards. This is what saves us from big board sweepers such as Fumigate or Cleansing Nova. Then we have Deeproot Waters, which allows all of our Merfolk to kind of come in and double up, bring in another body with them. And then our lands of choice, most of the blue-green lands, unclaimed territories, which of course we'll name Merfolk, and Hash Up Oasis, that will allow us to maybe get in those extra few points of damage that we need. Alright, well, now that we've seen the deck, let's go ahead and load up Arena and get started. Alright, so our opponent is on the play. We have 2 unclaimed territories and an island. So we can actually play everything in our hand, so I am going to keep this. I would rather have one of the 1-drops in the deck, if that's okay. Actually, we just drew one, so even better. Play out our unclaimed territory, select Merfolk, and play the Herald. Alright, so it seems like it's black-white zombies. We're going to have to take that. Let's see, so we'll play the other unclaimed territory. I think I'm going to just attack with our Herald. And then hold back the Trickster for blocking. I don't know if I want to tap a guy. We'll let them attack so we can ambush and kill something. So they might kill it in response. That's fine. We're still taking 4. Alright. So let's see here. I think we want to Branch Walker. And hold back Spell Pierce. We're going to graveyard the second Herald. And go ahead and attack. So our opponent didn't attack that turn. We did draw a land, but it comes into play tapped now. I don't think we have any other better options, so I think we'll do that. And we'll play the Mistbinder off of the unclaimed territories and still hold back Spell Pierce. I think I'm still just going to attack with the Herald. We do have a Deep-Root Waters, which we could get online. Daily Vest, yep. So the Blinding Mummy is going to be tough to beat. So we can play any of our out of our Jadelight Ranger, Deep-Root Waters, or Silvergill Adept. The Adept draws us another card and possibly gets us to another land. So I think I'm going to do that. Gonna get green. Tap the island. We have Blossoming Defense. And we can't play any of the other stuff, so we're going to pass the turn. Lord of the Accursed. So all of their zombies are going to get a bump. Okay. The Blinding Mummy is going to tap something down. Tap another one down. So Blinding Mummy, not being able to kill the Blinding Mummy has hurt us quite a bit. We can block something here. I think the Josu Vest has Menace, so we'd have to block both. We'd lose both of our guys. I think we have to double block the Binding Mummy. Looks like they're going to try to kill the Mistbinder. I'm going to Blossoming Defense. Alright, Hinterland. We can't play both Jadelight Ranger and Deep-Root Waters, so let's play the Jadelight Ranger. It's more bodies on the board. Graveyard a Ranger, Graveyard a Kamina. They have 4 creatures. We're at 2. We have to double block the Vest. I think we're... Let's see. So if I attack here, and we have to double block the Vest. Nope, I can't afford to attack, so no attacks. So all of their guys are going to get Menace. Do we have enough? We do not. So, good game. Alright, our opponent is on the play. We have an island, a Hinterland Harbor, Hash-Up Oasis. So we want to play this Kamina Speaker on turn 1, but if we play the Hash-Up Oasis, we can't play... This will come into play tapped. And even if we did that and played the island instead, I guess we could Merfolk Mistbinder instead of Trickster on turn 2. It's an awkward land hand for sure. I'd much rather this just be a regular forest. But I think we're going to keep it. Because we still have viable turn 1 and turn 2 plays. And the Silvergill add-up makes it even better, so... we'll have to pay a life to get our speaker into play. So next turn I think we're just going to play the island and then the adept. Depending on what our opponent does. Kitesail Freebooter. It's going to miss. And our opponent decided they did not want to face all of that, so... Alright, so we are on the draw. Unclaimed Territory Forest, Haship Oasis with Kumina Speaker, Jade Light Ranger, and Spell Pierce and Blossoming Defense in our hand. We can't cast the Spell Pierce, because the only source of blue we have is Unclaimed Territory, and that can only be used to cast our Merfolk. I still think it's an okay hand. I don't know if a 6-card hand would be much better than this, so let's keep it. Alright, Tempest Caller. We're going to play the Kumina Speaker. So, some sort of Jund deck. Alright, so Hinterland Harbor helps. That'll allow us to cast Spell Pierces. We're just going to attack for the 1. And pass the turn. Alright, so on our turn, I think we're going to cast Deep-Root Waters now instead of Jade Light Ranger. Makes all of our Merfolk from here on out threats. I know we're still only getting in for 1 with the Kumina Speaker, but I still think that's just the best play. We'll go ahead and attack first, though. We'll get this Unclaimed Territory into play. Naming Merfolk, then we'll cast Deep-Root Waters and pass the turn. Servant of the Conduit, sure. So our opponent seems to be ramping into something. We don't quite know yet. Let's see, let's do that. And that to make sure our mana tap's right. And that also leaves up both Blossoming Defense and Spell Pierce. Another Blossoming Defense. I'm going to bin. Got another Haship Oasis. I'm going to attack. See if they want to block. They don't. Looks like they want to keep their mana around. Nicol Bolas. Can't do much about that. Going to have to discard. Let's discard one of these extra Spell Pierces. I want to keep another land up. Alright, so Branch Walker. I'm going to use the Haship Oasis to cast the Branch Walker. We're going to do this first. A Merfolk Trickster, we'll keep that on top. And we'll go to attacks. We're going to attack with the Speaker and the Jade Light Ranger. Alright, so they took that. They're going to cast Blossoming Defense to kill their Nicol Bolas. And we still haven't played our land for the turn, so let's Haship Oasis. Once we get them down low enough too, we have Tempest Caller to kind of finish out the game. Right now we're at 5, 6, 7, so we're almost there. Karn, we're definitely going to Spell Pierce.
Your efforts are futile.
And our opponent's had enough, so good game. Alright, so we're on the play this time. We have one land, it's an island, which means we can't even play our Kumina Speaker on turn 1. There's not a lot else going on unless we draw into lands. And our Jadelight Ranger and our Merfolk Trickster are both fighting for double colors, so I think we have to throw this one back. Still one land and still the same problem. Yeah, we'll throw it back again. Alright, so we have 2 lands this time. They're still both islands, but we do get to play our Mist-Cloaked Herald on turn 1, and any forest turns on the rest of our hands. So let's keep it. Branchwalker is not a green land, so we have to throw it back. We can't even cast it right now to try to search for other lands. Alright, so we're just going to attack, play out our other island, and pass the turn. Strategic planning. I think I'm going to let that resolve. Alright, there's a green source of mana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Mistbinder Click, or excuse me, Merfolk Mistbinder, attack for 2 and leave up Spell Pierce. Manolith. I'm going to go ahead and Spell Pierce that. Alright, there's another land. We just have to keep attacking and hope it gets there. Chart a course, sure. We're going to chart a course again. Our opponent has seen a lot of cards. Alright, Deep Root Waters is pretty decent. We don't have anything to trigger it yet. But every Merfolk spell we cast from here on out becomes a double threat. And we don't even have to successfully cast it. Alright, so Trophy Mage to get an artifact. They're going to get a Power Stone Shard. Okay. There's another Herald. Let's just attack with our 1 Herald. Cast the other one. And pass the turn. I want to hold that Blossoming Defense in case they have something like Blink of an Eye or something of that nature. It'll also allow us to... Yep, so they have that. I guess they're going to play the Power Shard. Okay. I think this means we win, because no matter which one they block, we can Blossoming Defense and kill... and do 8 damage, so... I do have 1 colorless left. I'm not sure what they can do with that, if anything. So we'll just attack. We'll cast Blossoming Defense on the Herald and take him out. Alright, so we're on the play. Botanical Sanctum and Hinterland Harbor. So no turn 1 plays. I think this hand is okay. Actually, let's see, 2 Blossoming Defenses. Our first play would be a Mistbinder, which doesn't really do well on its own. Then we're still drawing a land away from either Jadelight Ranger or Coppola. So I think we have to actually throw it back. Alright, unclaimed territory and forest. We can play either of our 1-drops on turn 1, and we still can't play Spell Pierce unless we draw a blue source, and we can't play Merfolk unless we draw another blue source as well. I think this is still better, so I'm going to keep. We'll probably lead off with the Herald. I'm going to keep the Adept. As it's something we can play with our hand. And so on turn 1 we're going to unclaim territory and play our Herald. So there's the Silver Gill Adept. We have a choice between Kamina Speaker and the Adept. I think I'm going to cast the Adept while we still have other Merfolk in our hands. I'm going to show them the Speaker, that way we don't reveal we have the Trickster. So there's another land, so that's good. Alright, so Diligent Excavator. Whenever you cast a historic spell, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. So some sort of Mildic, perhaps? Alright, so I'm going to use the Forest to cast the Speaker. I'm just going to attack with the Herald. And I'm going to leave back both Trickster and Spell Pierce this turn. So Inventor's Fair and Zalfarin Void. I wonder if this is some version of the Mono Blue Storm life gain deck. So they are milling me. I think I'm going to, at the end of their turn, Trickster. Guess we just get in there for everything, huh? So that's 11. We didn't have any other creatures to play this turn. Aetherflux Reservoir. Let's see, so they're going to mill me, and I am going to Spell Pierce the Reservoir. That is a pretty big win condition. Plus all the life gain just puts us out of killing them range. Let's see, so let's play the J-Light Ranger first. Mistbinder is pretty good. And I think we swing with everything because we can Blossoming Defense and kill the rest of it. They could Baral's Expertise next turn, but we just redeploy our hand. Plus things like Jade-Light Ranger, Silver Gill Adept, and Merfolk Trickster all trigger on their enter the battlefield. So let's do that. Alright, so they are going to try to kill the Adept. We're going to kill their Excavator so they can't keep milling us. So Gonti's Aetherheart. Oh, so they decided that they can't do anything, so... Alright, so Unclaimed Territory, Botanical Sanctum, Hinterland Harbor. We got Trickster, Adept, Branchwalker, Branchwalker. I think this hand is fine. We're definitely going to keep it. Hopefully we draw one of our 1-drops. We didn't, but that's okay. We're just going to play the Botanical Sanctum. Actually, we probably should have played the Hinterland Harbor. Yeah, we definitely should have played Hinterland Harbor, because now we have to do this, and all of our other Hinterland Harbors are going to come into play tapped, unless we draw an island or a forest. Alright, so Mistcloak Herald. Alright, so there's a Spell Pierce. Let's Branch Walker here first. So I know we showed them one of them. I'm going to graveyard that. And play out a Hinterland Harbor. And we'll attack. If they want to block with their Drover of the Mighty. They don't. So now they should have 5 mana for something, but they didn't play anything. So this turn, I think we're going to do... I'm going to play this Silvergill Adept, revealing the Mistcloak Herald. We drew a Jade Light Ranger. Let's go to combat. Alright. Let's play Mistcloak Herald. Alright. So I wonder if they have something like Settle the Wreckage. We haven't really seen much of what their deck is capable of. Settle the Wreckage would be fine because we have Spell Pierce, and they can only... Actually, they can pay for 2, can't they? Because they have the Drover. We probably need to get this Coppola in play in case they have some sort of targeted removal, like Seal Away or Cast Out. So that's probably what we need to do this turn. And then we'll have Spell Pierce back up if we need it. Nope. They don't seem to have much of anything going on over there. Alright, so Fumigate, we're going to Spell Pierce, and I believe that ends the game. Yep, our opponent agrees, so... Alright, we're on the draw. Island Forest, Hinterland Harbor, but nothing until turn 2, and that's a Mistbinder, which we don't really want to be our first play, so I think we have to throw this one back. 4 lands, an Adept, and a Trickster. I don't think it's going to get better than that. I don't want another land. Alright, so no turn 1 play from our opponent. That's good. We're going to lead off with the island. It'll allow us to play both of our, or all 3 of our 2-drops, depending on what our opponent plays here. Our opponent hasn't done anything yet. Let's play the Adept, revealing a Branch Walker. So it resolves. We get to draw a card and pass the turn. Secrets of the Golden City, sure. Alright, so I think we're going to play the... Actually, let's attack. Then we'll Branch Walker, see if we get a different kind of green source here. It's a Mistcloak Herald. I'm going to graveyard that, and then play out the Hash Up Oasis to protect our creatures with Blossoming Defense. So they're going to Eviscerate, so we'll go ahead and protect it. Alright, again we'll go to combat. Let's see, so... we can't Branch Walker and hold back for Blossoming Defense and Merfolk Trickster unless we hit an untapped green source off the Branch Walker. It was a blue source, so I think we're just going to pass the turn. Omen Speaker. They're bottoing both, that's good for us. Alright, Deep-Root Waters is a pretty good draw. So I think we're going to play the Deep-Root Waters. And then go to combat and attack with just the large Branch Walker. Yep, murder. Alright, so at the end of their turn, we'll drop a Trickster, create a token. So we're gonna mill 3, and they'll draw 3. They're going to combat. Alright, so at the end of the turn, Trickster, there's another Adept, which is pretty good. Let's see, so let's do... we got another land, but we can hold back for Trickster and Blossoming Defense, which is good. We're going to attack with everything. And pass the turn. Now we have Trickster for one more shot to try to get rid of something. Golden Demise. Let's see. So if we Blossoming Defense, we could save something. I don't think we really want to do that. We can Merfolk Trickster, which gets us a token Then we still have Blossoming Defense. Let's see if they counter it. Yep, they're going to counter it and get a treasure. Still get our token. I mean, if they want to Fatal Push the token, I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to pass the turn. See what they do here. I'm imagining they're probably trying to... Actually, these have Hexproof because of Deep Root Waters. Alright, so they didn't have a counterspell or another... Alright, Araska, or Kumina was a great draw, because we're going to get to the 5 Merfolk here now. No attacks. So all of our Merfolk are going to get pretty big here in a second. They're sifting. They're trying to draw into something. They got to get rid of one card. They're seeing a lot more cards than we are. So they should have the advantage. In fact, they still have 3 in their hand. Kamina is going to help with that. Alright, Ice Manipulator can be a little annoying. We're going to go ahead and put a counter on everything. If they have something like a Fatal Push or another 2-mana removal spell, they can go ahead and kill the Mistbinder now if they want to. So there's a Kamina Speaker. Let's play the Kamina Speaker. We'll tap this one to make him unblockable. Yep. And we'll pass the turn. We still have enough to pump. I think on the next turn we should be able to... Let's see, how many times can they do this? before they have to cast it. They can do it 4 more times, I guess. Alright, so he's going to resolve. We have to do... this now. It pumps them all up. So this, our opponent's playing the blue-black precon that comes with the set. Let's see. Player Hinterland Harbor. Ice Manipulator makes Hash Up Oasis bad. Yep. So our opponent is out of cards. If we get to something like a Tempest Caller, we should be fine. They should start swinging with their Air Elemental now. Yeah. In fact, they can close out quickly now because they have 2 flyers. And we're just drawing lands. I think we have 1 more turn to draw a Tempest Caller. That actually helps us because Hash Up Oasis would not be good for us anyway. So we'll just replace it with another forest. Alright, so they're going to opt. Draw in the blind off the scry. And it was another land. I imagine both flyers are coming this time. Nope, just the Bone Dragon. That puts us to 9, so we have 1 more turn. That is a Blossoming Defense. Do we get enough? I think that's it, right? No? I guess we just attack with everything and hope for the best. I don't think it's going to work out. So we kill the Air Elemental, but we die on the crackback with Tetsamok and Bone Dragon. But it's what we got. We were 1 point short. Yep, all you gotta do is attack. That's gonna do it. All right, so with this deck, you can see it can have explosive draws. It also is fairly inconsistent at times. I'm not really a fan of the mana base. If I was going to retool it, I would probably take out Unclaimed Territory altogether and play two more Botanical Sanctums and just a number of islands and forests to make up the difference. Um, it's important to be able to cast things like your Deep-Root Waters and Blossoming Defenses and Spell Pierces on time. Just drawing any number of Unclaimed Territories just doesn't let you do that. Unclaimed Territory is just really better suited for an almost all creature deck. We do run 27 in this one, but the spells that we do want to cast that are non-creature spells are pretty important and demand timely mana situations for us to cast them, especially early on when we're trying to defend with Blossoming Defense, and once they get up to like 4 and 5 mana to protect against things like Settle the Wreckage and Fumigates and any other kind of board sweepers they may have. So again, I think it's a lot of fun. It's really explosive, can have really big draws, especially if you go wide with Deep-Root Waters and the Mistbinders. But overall, I don't think it's quite ready yet. Hopefully in the new Ravnica set in a few weeks, we'll get another Lord of some kind, or maybe just some better utility Merfolk. Also, the red decks, the current red decks of choice, lose most of their creatures, so hopefully those won't be waiting in the wings. Sometimes the Goblin Chain Whirler can be devastating as it takes out quite a number of our creatures, especially the ones that don't hit off of their explorations or if we don't have a Mistbinder in play. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. If you like what you saw, please give a like and subscribe. And we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Friday Night Magic with Kurisumon.